Hi, Archie.
Hi. Hi.
How are you?
Great.
Awesome. Do you remember what page we are on?
We are on page.
I found it.
Yes, this page.
Yeah, page 22.
Yeah.
Slide 28. All right, because I see my big star here. I put the star where we left off, okay? So I'm going to get rid of that. Now, do you remember we met a character yesterday who was the manager of the Grand Hotel? His name is Snobby LaFeur or Snobby LaFeur. Well, it's kind of funny. Sometimes this author, when she names the characters, she puts something in their name that tells us a little bit about what kind of person they are like. So I'm going to use blue to highlight the snobby in his name because snobby is a real English word. It's an adjective. And when someone is being snobby, they are being arrogant. They are thinking that they are better than everyone else. So if you call someone snobby, you are not giving them a compliment. You are saying, huh, you look down your nose at us. You act like you are better than us. And so we know the manager, his name is Snobby LaFeur. And remember that he came over and he was dressed so nicely, impeccably dressed. Do you remember that word here? Impeccably. That means perfectly, not a wrinkle, not no stains on his clothes, nothing out of place, just perfectly. So I want you to look over here at these characters in this picture and tell me, which one do you think is Snobby LaFeur? I'll move my red dot around and you see. Now, would it be her?
Yes.
No, I don't think she's the manager of the hotel. Would it be him?
No.
No, that's Swift Paws. How about him?
No.
That's Geronimo. How about this guy?
Yes.
Yes, I think that's Snobby LaFeur. I think he's the manager of the hotel. You can see how nicely he's dressed. He has a bow tie. He has a coat with tails. That's called coat with tails. He even has a pretty fancy mustache right here. And he's talking to that lady who I bet is the Duchess, right? What was her name? Duchess Mousecovia, I think. So, and Snobby LaFeur wants Geronimo and his team to be more quiet and not let anyone know they're there. It's called being discreet. So it was Snobby LaFeur, the manager of the Grand Hotel, and he says, remember that our guests are part of Muskrat City's high society. High society means like people at the top, people who kind of make the most money in the city and they have the nicest homes and the nicest cars. Maybe they're in royalty like the Duchess. They go to fancy parties, fancy weddings, 5-star hotels. They kind of live a pretty, like a life of luxury. He added, they expect only the best. Suddenly, we had this word yesterday or the day before, suddenly, that means all of a sudden, a mouse swept into the room. She was wearing a gigantic diamond around her neck. It was the famous star-studded gemstone. So this was Duchess Marilyn Mousecovia. The Duchess glared at us. Oh, that's not a nice thing to do. Do you know what it means to glare at someone? Sometimes we call it giving someone the evil eye. It means to stare at someone or look at someone in a really mean way. You can show on your face how angry you are when you're staring at them. And the other person can look at your face and know, oh, he's mad or she's mad. Well, the Duchess, if you're glaring, it means you're mad. And she was mad. That's true. So I'm going to highlight glared in blue. All right. So she says, who are these rodents with the ratty capes? She asked Lefur. She does not like the way that they're dressed. She does not like their capes. They don't look important enough or special enough or rich enough for her. And so the manager says, let's see what he says. That's not a good way to start when someone asks you a question. It doesn't show that you're very good at speaking. They are part of the security team here at, I think he's going to say, the Grand Hotel. But before I turn the page, we're going to highlight security team. Those would be the people that are in charge of the security, of keeping everyone safe. All right, so here is the picture at the hotel. You can see it's a pretty fancy hotel. And even because the manager is dressed so fancy. And let's take a look at Duchess Mousecovia. Can you see the diamond?
Yes.
I think that's this right here. Pretty
Yes,
big.
it is the Becca chocolate diamond. The Becca chocolate diamond.
Oh, have you been reading ahead?
Yes.
Uh-huh. Okay.
Uh-huh.
Oh, I was right, at the Grand Hotel. Stuttered. Remember, stuttered means the same thing as stammered, right? When he was like, security team. But, he says, I assure you that they won't be any bother to you or any of your guests. Now, I want to highlight in blue, assure. Assure means to promise or reassure. It means to say, I guarantee you, you don't have to worry about this. That they, that means Geronimo and his team, won't be any bother to you or any of your guests. None of you will be bothered. They won't be a distraction. They won't cause any problems. You won't even know they're here. And she says, I hope not, Lefur, the Duchess squeaked. I, that's Geronimo, shot a look at Swiftpaws. Now, shot a look is an expression in English that just means I looked at someone quickly and I stared at them to make sure they saw me looking right at them, or to make sure they see me looking right at them. Now, Swiftpaw says, don't worry, hero partner, he whispered. I've got just the thing to spruce us up. Spruce us up means to make us look better. I wonder what Swiftpaws is going to do to make Geronimo and Swiftpaws look like they're appropriately dressed for a fancy party. All right, the next chapter is called Superhero Clowns. Superhero Clowns. At 6 in the evening, the party began. All of Muskrat City's most important rodents gathered in the ballroom. Everyone was dressed in elegant formal wear. Elegant means very fancy. Formal wear means you're wearing clothes that you would not wear to play or to school or to work or around your house or to go to the grocery store. It's clothes you would wear to something very important, like a wedding might be one. That would be something where you would dress, a lady would wear a long dress, maybe all the way to the floor. A man would wear a suit and tie, and maybe his suit coat would have tails, and maybe he would have a bow tie, and he would have his nice shiny black shoes on. And so people would look very fancy. That's elegant, formal wear. Well, everyone, except for Swift Paws and me, we wore our usual super suits along with enormous, what? Bow ties. A bow tie, well, you can see, you see those ties that they're wearing?
Yes.
Bow tie, but you know, I think those are a little bit more the kind of tie that a clown would wear at a circus than someone would wear to a wedding or to something fancy. As you can tell that Swift Paws thinks it's great and Geronimo does not think it looks so great. All right, let me see here. Whoops, let me get this. Okay, now instead of, this is what Geronimo thinks, now instead of looking like super mice, we looked like super clowns. But Swift Paws, he says, nice, huh? Said Swift Paws, tweaking his bow tie proudly. He's like getting it to look just right. That's tweaking it. He thinks it's great. I mean, look at the smile on his face. And then he says, we'll go to the next page. Did I mention my hero partner? Oh, this is Geronimo. He says, did I mention my hero partner has no sense of fashion? That was Geronimo talking, wasn't it? No, that was Swift Paws talking. Swift Paws says, nice, huh? And then Swift Paws says about Geronimo, did I mention that my hero partner has no sense of fashion? That means he doesn't know how to dress in a really stylish, fancy way. Now it's going to be Geronimo. And Geronimo, this is what he sees. He's going to tell us a little bit about what he sees. I glanced around the room. Glanced means to look quickly. Not far from us, I spotted the mayor chatting away with Marilyn Mousecovia. I inched closer. That means I kind of tried to edge a little closer. I tried to, you know, I didn't want anyone to notice, but I was very slowly trying to get closer, deciding to keep my eye on the Duchess at all times. Okay, Geronimo's like, I'm looking at her all the time, right? The thief is not going to get that diamond while I'm looking at her. Who knew when the invisible thief might strike? Okay, so that's Geronimo's plan. He is just going to keep an eye on Marilyn Mousecovia. Suddenly, a voice broke into my thoughts. Now, that's kind of an interesting use of the word broke. Usually, this means we break something, right? Like here, I have these blocks and I could break them or pull them apart. If I had I don't have anything in here that I can break. No, I don't think I have anything in here that I could break. If I had a cup or a dish or a plate or something that if I dropped it on the floor, that would break. Of course, I don't want to do that. But this is not about a voice breaking into pieces that need to be glued back together. This is about a voice breaking into my thoughts. So that's a new meaning of the word break. And it just means that while Geronimo is busy thinking to himself, that thief's not going to get past me, I'm on the case. There's a voice that he heard a voice from someone else, we don't know who, and that voice interrupted his thinking. So he stopped thinking and he looked up to see who is that voice coming from. Okay, and here's what the person is saying. Here's what the voice is saying. It's saying, Super Stilton, how wonderful to see you. I turned, that's Geronimo, and I felt my heart thump, 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 thump excitedly. It was Priscilla Barr, the most famous lawyer in Muskrat City. She was with her father, Prosecutor Barr. So do you think that Geronimo likes Priscilla? If you're not sure, listen to the next paragraph. So then this is what Geronimo tells us about Priscilla. He says, Priscilla was wearing a sparkling blue-green gown, the same shade as her eyes. Besides being brilliant, which means very, very smart, Priscilla has a good heart and is a truly beautiful mouse. Wow, he has just told us that Priscilla has a beautiful gown, beautiful eyes, is a very smart person, a very good heart, and just a beautiful mouse. And his heart was like, oh, Priscilla's here, Priscilla's here, Priscilla's here. So do you think that he likes Priscilla?
Yes.
Yes, he does. He has a big crush on her. He likes her very much. Do you think he's still thinking about the Duchess Mousecovia with the big diamond?
No.
What do you think he's thinking about now?
Don't know.
About who just walked in? Where did that voice come from?
Her.
Ah, Priscilla. And do you see these little red hearts above Geronimo?
Yes.
Why do you think the author wanted little red hearts right above Geronimo's head? To tell us what?
To tell us her.
What is he looking at? What is he thinking?
Her?
Yeah, he's looking at her, right? He's very, very excited to see her because he likes her, right? He's not thinking anymore about the case and the diamond and Duchess Mousecovia. He's just looking at, oh, and look, he can't even say her name. He's like, Priscilla, right? He's so nervous. And there she is with her dad. Well, immediately, this is what happened to Geronimo. Immediately, that means right away, I turned as red as my super cape. Well, we say in English that a person's face turns red if they are angry, and he's not angry, or if they are embarrassed. And I think he's embarrassed. He says, now he's going to babble. Babble is worse than stammering and stuttering. Babbling is when you're like, your words are coming out so quickly that the person listening to you can't even figure out what you're saying. You're just not really making sense. He says, you're wonderful. I'm wonderful. It's wonderful to see you too, I babbled. And then he kind of thinks to himself, oh, why am I such a mess around smart, attractive female mice? I was telling Priscilla about our special mission when Swift Paws ran over. There you are, hero partner, Swift Paws exclaimed. Then he noticed Priscilla. He grinned so widely. Okay, so Swift Paws is going to come over. Do you think that Geronimo wants Swift Paws to come over right now?
No.
No. I think he wants some time with Priscilla. Well, Swift Paws was smiling so widely, I thought his jaw would crack. May I have the honor of this dance, Miss Barr? He asked, bowing before her. Oh my goodness, who just asked Priscilla to dance?
Sweet paws.
That's right. How do you think Geronimo feels about that?
Badly.
Yes, 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 yes. You are correct. But what about guarding the star-studded gemstone? I whispered to my partner. Well, now he remembers, huh? Swift Paws, he says, relax, relax. Swift Paws reassured me. Everything is under control. All right, we've got a couple words here. We've got reassured and maybe that's it. I frowned. I frowned. Forget about guarding the gemstone. My hero partner had just stolen the mouse of my dreams right out from under my whiskers. Rats. I decided to distract myself by throwing myself into my work. I went off to look for the Duchess. When I found her, I bowed and asked her if she would like to dance. Do you think that the Duchess is going to want to dance with someone who looks like this?
No.
No, I don't think so. All right, let's see. And then she says, the Duchess says to him, do I know you? She asked, staring. That's funny, she doesn't recognize him. So, staring down her nose at me, Mayor Powerpaws was standing close by. So here we can see a picture of what's happening at the hotel. And you can see Swift Paws is dancing with Priscilla. And Geronimo is not happy about that. He says, rats. Okay, I want you to notice a couple things in orange. One is staring down her nose at me. Remember when we were talking about the word snobby? And I said someone who is snobby kind of looks down their nose at you. Well, that means they kind of look down. That means like if you look down your nose at someone, you're saying you're a little person. I'm bigger than you. I'm more, not taller, but I'm more important than you. You're not worth anything compared to me. You're a nobody compared to me. I'm someone special. You're nobody special. That's what it means to look down your nose at someone or to stare down your nose at someone. And also we had over here that where it said my hero partner had just stolen the mouse of my dreams right out from under my whiskers. Okay, so there's two different green, purple. We need our purple to say mouse of my dreams and right out from under my nose. Those two different things. So we're going to use a purple pen, and whiskers should be nose. So we say from out from under my nose. So if you stole something right out from under my nose, that means I should have noticed, because like maybe I'm right here in the room and you managed to come in right where I'm here and very sneakily take something and I didn't even notice, and it was right under my nose, but I didn't notice. So we say, it just means that I'm here and I should be able to see it, but I didn't. So that is having something taken right out from under my nose. Of course, they changed nose to whiskers. Now, mouse of my dreams, usually in English, we say the girl of my dreams. Oops, I didn't make a very good G. You know, like I found the girl of my dreams. Okay. Next page. So, do you see what page we're on? And then here we end with the mayor, and the mayor says to Duchess Mousecovia, her name's Marilyn. The mayor says, "Dear Marilyn," he said, and he introduces her to Super Stilton. He goes, "This is," oops, wrong color. "This is Super Stilton, one of the excellent defenders of Muskrat City." Okay, one of the people keeping Muskrat City safe. He's defending it from being harmed or from having anything bad happen to it. And she says, "Oh yes, a hero mouse." The Duchess snorted. Well, that means she's not saying it in a very nice way. If you're snorting, you're kind of making fun of it, kind of almost laughing at it. So you're not really being very nice about it. So she does not respect Geronimo. She's like, "Oh yes, a hero mouse. Now I recognize that terribly dreadful costume. Ugh, don't you have anything else you can change into? Those boots are hideous, and the bow tie is ridiculous." Okay, so she's sounding very arrogant, and she's also sounding very judgmental. I'm going to write that word here. So she's sounding very arrogant. That also means snobby. We talked about the word snobby tonight. As she looks down her nose at him, she acts like she's better than he is. Okay, like she's something special and he's not. She's also being very judgmental. This is a new word for you. It's not in the reading, but I'm going to teach it to you anyway. If you're being judgmental, then you are judging someone else. You are judging someone else and telling and saying what you think is bad about that person. You are, for example, she is judging Geronimo by saying, "You look horrible. Your costume," she said, "what you're wearing is dreadful. The boots," she said, "are hideous. The bow tie," she said, "is ridiculous." When she's using words like dreadful, hideous, and ridiculous, she is judging Geronimo. And that means she is being judgmental. And that's not a nice way to be. We don't want to be people who are judgmental of other people, because it's just not being kind. So we're going to look at a couple of these words. They have similar meanings. Dreadful means horrible. Hideous means horrible. Ridiculous means like really silly, like so silly, not in a good way, but silly in a bad way, that just makes you want to laugh at it or snort at it. Okay. All right, so, there's a picture of Geronimo being very polite and saying, "Would you do me the honor of dancing with me?" And she's like, you've got to be kidding. You dressed like that? And even when the mayor introduces him as basically a hero, someone who helps keep the city safe, she's just like, huh. You know, she doesn't even respect that, really. I don't know. If I was Geronimo, I'm not sure I would really want to help her out. She's not a very nice person. Well, I sighed. That's Geronimo sighing. And to think I could have been dancing with the sweet and beautiful Priscilla Barr. I was just mumbling my apologies when suddenly I turned as pale as a slice of mozzarella. The super diamond that the Duchess had been wearing around her neck had disappeared. Oh, this is going to be where we're going to leave off today. But first, let's look at what vocabulary words we want to see. Mumbling.
Super diamond.
Yeah, we're gonna look at that. We taught a couple of days ago when we looked at that letter, the letter of apology. We talked about what an apology is, and it's a way of saying I'm sorry. Okay, that's apologizing. Mumbling means you are not talking very clearly. If you are mumbling, the person you are talking to will say to you, huh? What did you say? I could not understand clearly. So mumbling is when you're and it's hard for the other person to understand what you're saying. Now, if you're embarrassed, and she has been insulting him, so he's embarrassed, right? She's been calling him things like hideous and ridiculous and what was the other word? Dreadful, right? So he's very embarrassed, but he's still trying to be polite. So he wants to apologize and say, I'm sorry to bother you. But he might say it like, I'm sorry to bother you. He's kind of mumbling. He wants to get away from there. But all of a sudden, he realized the diamond is missing. Okay, so his face drained of color. It went from being red, embarrassed, to white. That's it. When it says he turned as pale as a slice of mozzarella. Well, mozzarella is a white cheese. So his face just lost all the redness and went white because he's shocked and surprised and scared. The diamond has disappeared. Okay, so that is and we're going to use I'm just going to leave this one here, as pale as a slice of mozzarella. This is a way that an author can help us know about this word here. Okay, so pale means not much color. And if the author wants us to know what does that look like, wants us to be able to picture it in our mind better, like how pale, then the author can say and then give us an explanation, like a slice of mozzarella, which is a white cheese. So then we can say, oh, that's pretty white, pretty pale. When I looked around, I couldn't believe my eyes. The star-studded gemstone was floating right over the table of refreshments. The invisible thief had struck again. The Duchess let out a tremendous scream. No! What do you think this says right here? Here's a diamond. The invisible thief had struck again. Table of refreshments, would be the table that has the food on it. Okay. Usually refreshments are talking about the drinks, okay, that you can go get, like lemonade or iced tea. All right, let me go ahead and make my star right here.
Right here.
But it didn't work. Let me try that again. Boy, I'm having trouble making my star today. There we go. All right, now we got it. All right, so I'm going to hit stop share so that I can say so long.
Cheddar chip. Bye.
Bye-bye.